Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Council of Future Conflict. My name is Scott. I am the proprietor of the Future Conflict channel. Today, we're talking what's the deal with China and Minnesota Screwjob on episode 622 of the CFC. Hey, guys, I tell you what, this whole China thing, man, I don't know. I honestly, I mean, it's like I debated whether we even cover it in depth, but I mean, I think the certainty of it is very low. My confidence in any news coming out of China is very low. But it's one of those kind of things. If it's even 10% accurate, it's a fucking huge story.
There are ripples.
I don't know.
We're just trying to describe what's causing them. We have no idea about that part.
Yeah. I really want, like, I know you guys come to us for not just like our opinions and like whatever, but like actually hearing news, right? Like hearing stories that maybe aren't getting covered other places. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows up front that take this all with a very significant pinch of salt. But that being said, yeah, something's going on in China, I think.
One thing we can confirm is that China is asshole.
So. That's right. That's exactly right. And that video actually made a resurgence the other day. So, yeah, as well it should.
There's a lot of comments in the chat about it. Hey, we don't know why, but for whatever reason, StreamYard's just double playing the audio. And I'm angry about it because it's ruining my enjoyment of that banger theme song that we have. So.
I don't hear any echo now that we're live, but like, yeah, during the song there was that weird kind of like half a second delay type deal or whatever.
Yeah. Sorry guys. Yeah, I can make that not happen tomorrow, I think.
All right. Happy Plague Doctor, a member for 23 months, says none of my jokes ever land, so I'll just say good morning. I know the feeling.
Yes, Scott. Because some days I'm a jerk to poor Scott and he has to deal with it, but he'll get over it. He's a tough guy.
Yeah, I mean, once you've been in a gunfight, somebody, the whole sticks and stones thing really starts to kind of like land.
Yeah, right. So this guy is doing a perfectly executed flying front kick, so that's pretty darn good.
Well, I imagine this is exactly what was happening I chose this picture because when I saw this, I was like, that is what is going on at that hotel in Beijing.
Right? This is a scene from the hotel lobby where the alleged gunfight either did or did not occur at some date in history.
Schrodinger's coup? Is that what this is? That's what we should have called this. Oh, that would have been the perfect title. Schrodinger's coup.
What's funny about that is there's this field down the road, and this spring, every time I drove by alone, there was a fawn standing in it, and everyone else told me, no, there's no fawn in that field. I'm like, that fawn is there every day. And then finally she saw the fawn. So now I don't know what happened to my video. So now we call it Schrodinger's field because the fawn is either there or it is not. So Schrodinger's gunfight is the same way.
What's funny is you guys give me a hard time about being an autist, but I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty like not autistic. I'm not very good at a lot of the autistic kind of things. I just don't pay. It's like I have a single focus mind. It's like if Joe's talking and I'm looking at something over here, and it's like and Joe's like, "What did you think of my joke?" I was like, "What joke?"
Well,
that's okay. I know what he was looking at.
You're an autist about proving me wrong. You spend a lot of time trying to do that. And I'm wrong all the time, so that's going to eat up all of your time.
Joe, you're wrong. I'm a perfectionist.
Chad, in this case, I actually know what it is.
It took me a second to realize that was a line. All right, I'm sorry.
I actually know what Scott was looking at off screen that distracted him.
I mean, I can't deny the facts. Anyway, I wanted to say a big shout out to Low-Key LARP, who just gifted us 10 subs over on Rumble. So if you don't have a Rumble subscription, what are you doing? Get over there and get your gifted sub.
I think there's still some in the hopper. So
that's the definition of autism, Scott. No, it is not the definition of autism.
What's the?
I appreciate the effort though.
What's the meme? It's my autism. I get to pick the special interest.
That's exactly right. What I do have is adult onset ADHD, though. I will freely admit that.
Yeah, I actually I've had it since a kid, and I need to go get medicated because I tried doing this whole I'm going to do it without medication thing for a long time now, and yeah, I need the medication.
Well, sorry, Watcher, we could have told you that from the beginning. I mean,
yeah. So
I think, Joe, did we talk one day? Is he on Ritalin? Because he sure needs to be.
yeah.
Right.
Obligatory Go Silver in the chat. Yes, Silver is doing well.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you all again, Krugerrands, they're cheaper than Britannia's or Eagles, and it's still an ounce of silver. So
Absolutely, and they're cooler. Krugerrands will always have Lethal Weapon cool about them.
Krugerrands will always have 80s vibe cool, right?
Yeah, because that's what the people like who were avoiding the law would always have. Is
I'm reliably assured that it's what all the secret agents used. Krugerrands.
you are correct, sir. All right. Guys, do we have time before we get into this? Do we have time for another Amelia meme?
There's always time for the Amelia meme, as long as it's actually socially actionable and we're not just standing for Amelia.
Yes,
she's not even a real person.
But, I agree with you. I'm with you there. So I think she's taking down the Muslim patriarchy.
Hold on. One more thing, though, before we do this. One more thing on the Krugerrands. This is how I know that secret agents use them. My grandfather, who used to work for USAID, is the first one who told me about them. So draw your own conclusions from there. Anyway.
USAID. All right, here we go.
Perfect. Amelia wins.
They've all got to leave our homeland.
And then, Joe, it's a kitty meme.
Total remigration. Not you clear them out, Cat. You're coming with me.
I gotta say, Forging Freedom's correct.
What's that?
Okay.
What'd you say, Watcher?
Oh, he said the Britannias look like they were minted by 5-year-olds. Yep, correct.
Okay. I don't buy them for their beauty. I buy them for the fact that they're silver.
Oh, I thought you didn't take Britannias, or at least not Britannias after a certain.
I don't take Britannias with Charles on them. I accept Britannias. Elizabeth on them.
Please tell me that's what you were talking about.
I think that is what he's talking about because I've
seen
them.
That's what you're talking about, Watcher. Like because they have the Charles.
Well, the new ones look awful. Have you actually seen them? Like they're not.
I have no interest. No interest.
Anyhow.
So Iran is in the air. I will tell you that my estimation of action against Iran is within the week. And that is based on, stuff. Donald Trump on Iran. All right, please.
I just there's another beautiful armada floating beautifully toward Iran right now. So we'll see. I hope they make a deal. I hope they make a deal.
They didn't. Narrator, they did not make a deal.
Well, in fairness, this was yesterday. So, the aircraft carrier was already there. I think what he's talking about is just all the other pieces.
Yeah. Well, and the other part of this is that he gave him an ultimatum and said, "Hey, you guys need to make a deal." And then before the ultimatum was over last night, around like maybe a couple hours after this, they came out and just flat said no before the time was over.
So it's not just Trump talking about this. Benjamin Netanyahu is talking about this.
A second.
read let me read the words. Hold on a second.
Yeah,
I
there's
know
some
you're
audio,
enjoying
just
the
aircraft.
airplane. Benjamin Netanyahu on a potential preventive strike against Iran. President Donald Trump, this is a quote, President Donald Trump will make the decision he deems necessary, and Israel will make its own decision. We are monitoring developments and are prepared for any scenario. According to Walla News, Israel expanded military movements are being observed across Iran, and IRGC prepares for possible war with the U.S. Reports indicate that senior Iranian officials are relocating to underground facilities. In Israel, reserve forces have been placed on alert for rapid mobilization.
That is actual footage of the entire flight time of the F-35 family of aircraft.
I mean, for Ron, I see Ron down the
It is a good looking thing when it moves like that, though, I have to say.
Is that a F-35 or is that a F-22? I didn't get a good look at it. Nope, it's a 22 because it's got double tail exhaust.
I do love the F. I like.
I think it is. Yeah.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, F-22. Man,
Well, hold on.
I'll be honest
we
with you.
say
I like
anything else,
F-22. I'm a little biased if I can.
I have to prepare everyone again, since I am the man who manages the videos. If you are eating or have a weak constitution, this is your Lindsey Graham warning. Lindsey Graham warning. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I think a new day is coming for Ron. I see Ron down the road could be a friend of America.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can't not say it. Does he look like a skeleton, like a wax skeleton to anybody else?
He just looks like a mud man, like he's made out of putty or something.
What is wrong with him?
I think a new day is coming for Ron. I see Ron down the road could be a friend of America, but the Ayatollah is evil. And Donald Trump is pretty good at standing up to evil. He's a reasonable man. He's going to be reasonable in Minnesota, but he's going to get to the bottom of sanctuary city policy, which is 12 states ignoring law. And to the Ayatollah and that crowd, you underestimate Donald Trump at your own peril. Stay tuned. To our friends in Israel, you've never had a better friend than Donald Trump.
You know what? I think Wander Away's right. I think it's exactly what's going on.
Yeah,
I think he's had.
I want to point out two things. One, it beautifully just painted Minnesota with the same paintbrush as Iran, which I thought was good. and two, the Ayatollah has that high quality warehouse shelving holding his legal books. I thought that was great.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, what do you think? What do you think the future for Iran is?
Well, hold on. I've got one for that. Go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say more of the same, that anyone who has the ability to overthrow the Ayatollah, we don't want. You'll end up with one of two things, an even more theocratic religious authority, or you'll end up with Greater Kurdistan, which may not turn out to be your friend because they're Marxists.
Yeah.
So,
well, then before what I have to say, let me just say that I agree with Joe. But what I have to say is what I think is going to happen, which is I think they're warming up the discombobulator.
Well, here, I'll be honest with you. I think going into their bunkers is probably the worst thing that the mullahs and everybody can do.
Yes, go into the known area that we have mapped and can hit from space.
Well, I also don't know that that's true, right? That's just something somebody said on the internet. With how hard it is to actually get data out of Iran right now, where does that information come from, right? It's hard enough to get random street video from the millions of cell phones that are out there, but to actually believe that they got some secured classified military info out is a little bit of a stretch for me. It just sounds like something someone said because it sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't really.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's got a point. My kind of thing is less about like we know where they are, and more like I would rather be mobile. You know what I mean, Joe? Like I would rather be able to kind of, hide in the big open spaces and that type of thing, and what 2-man group in a given area is the bad guy leader. I think one of the things that was really interesting that Osama bin Laden did was he basically insulated himself and didn't have he didn't have the internet, but he had videos, and he had like computers and hard drives and things like that, but he didn't have like a digital connection to his location, and he had a lot of cutouts. So that's just kind of my thought on the leadership, what they should or should not do. But then what do I know?
I think Pinochet solved the mystery of Lindsey Graham's appearance with his $1 Rumble rant.
Let's see. Pinochet's helicopter tour for $1 says Lindsey Graham is the first stage of becoming a Fallout ghoul.
That might solve why he looks so weird in that photo.
Are you guys either of you guys watching Fallout season 2?
No. Real quick, I have a brief and sad announcement to make. I regret to inform you that Wander Away, if you type again, you're gay now. You've got your big gay wrench.
Yes, you have asked and you have received. You are now a mod, so sorry. You got to deal with it.
You wanted to make a mod in?
Yes, I found out how to do it. It's
big mods.
It's on a 5th screen. Yeah, like you have to go through a whole bunch of like weird screens to get there. But yes, I figured it out.
Yeah, well, the thing that I realized is I couldn't do it as a mod. I could only do it under the, what is it? The admin.
You mean in the group? I'm talking about on Rumble.
Oh no, yeah. Rumble is difficult. I did it one time, and one time only. I was just like, I don't think
I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I was like, that's what I pay Watcher for. All right. Anyway, yeah, I think Iran's going to happen. I have no idea what's going to happen when it happens, but
I think Iran serves as a perfect distraction from all the other things that are going on, so it's probably going to happen.
Yeah,
There's a $1 super chat that's pertinent to the topic on Rumble.
I thought we just talked about that.
Oh, we did? Okay. I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that Lindsey Graham.
Fallout ghoul one?
Yeah, he is a ghoul.
Hold on a second. Here we go. Pinochet's helicopter tours for $1. Is there any confirmation that Silver Rise is a short call on an over-leveraged big bank? Not that I've heard of.
It was the other way around. I think that Silver caused the short call, not the other way around. The bank, we all know that it to be JP Morgan now, bought a whole lot of silver as it was rising, thinking, yeah, but then it's going to fall and we're actually going to make money on this deal. And then it didn't. And they're like, oh, we actually have to pay for this. Oh, I don't know how we're going to pay for this. And so it was a problem. So.
All right, let's move on to the next. Speaking of, things that can potentially distract from other important stuff in the world. Langley plants the flag. CIA takes point on post-Maduro Venezuela. That's not ominous at all.
They have such a great history of success in Central and South America.
Right? Look, gents, now listen. When has the CIA ever done a terrible job of managing a country which they've overthrown? that would be uncharacteristic.
By the way, I'm under the impression that the Central Intelligence Agency is barred from operations in the Western Hemisphere. But what do I know?
I did hear something to that regard, yes.
What do you... I'm not aware of this. What do you...
That's been the law since 1948, ever since founding.
The Western Hemisphere?
Yeah.
I thought it was just the continental United States.
Intelligence gathering operations in the Western Hemisphere.
I just never heard that before. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I thought Go ahead. I'm sorry.
National Defense Act of 1948.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, so Langley plants the flag. CIA takes point in the post-Maduro Venezuela. The CIA is quietly working to establish a permanent footprint inside Venezuela to shape the country's post-Maduro trajectory, according to the CNN report Tuesday. or rather not so quietly, with sources saying that Washington intends to run Caracas much the way it penetrated Ukraine after 2014. While the State Department is planning an eventual reopening of a formal U.S. embassy, setting up a CIA annex has been elevated as priority number one. An unnamed U.S. official told CNN, though there are serious questions as to why the agency would want to advertise this all over CNN. Good point. From that base, the agency operatives would engage with the interim government of Delcy Rodriguez. Delcy, I think, not Delcy. Cultivate opposition factions and target third parties who may be threats, according to the source. Yeah, that's kind of weird, right? Let's assume that it's completely legal for them to do all this. Why would they advertise this?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. Watcher, you're thinking about something there. Spit it out.
It's probably not a coherent thought. It's probably not this. I can't help but think, if the military was having recruitment issues under the big gay, I bet the CIA was also having massive recruitment issues under the big gay. And I wonder if, again, this is just a thought, but maybe trying to raise their public profile image to try and start recruiting like the military has been able to. I don't know. That's literally, I'm just thinking of reasons to advertise. And there's not many that include like dealing with the enemy, right? Like it's meant for an internal audience. That much we can say. And from there, I'm just trying to work out like, what are they trying to communicate to the US audience about this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. This is one of those kind of things that I'm going to have to learn more about. Continuing on here, it says a former U.S. official described the annex as a workaround for traditional diplomacy. Before diplomatic channels, the annex can help set up liaison channels that will allow conversations that diplomats cannot have. In other words, intelligence apparatus moves first, with formal diplomacy to follow, according to the unnamed official. State plants the flag, but CIA is really the influence.
Hold on.
Source.
Joe, you said something in the background that's super important. Can we just get that out loud? Because that's crazy. I had no idea that they dropped that.
So the policy I was referring to about the CIA being barred from Western Hemisphere was created because our Western Hemisphere allies were like, we don't want them poking around our backyard. But in the 60s, we apparently dropped that policy and that legal framework because it was apparent the CIA was ignoring it and doing whatever they wanted to anyway. So we were like, oh, well. So they're not supposed to, but they have been since the 60s. So is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So Joe, what do you think? Do you have any? Why would they advertise on CNN? This is driving me insane. I need a plausible reason.
Because they can't use USAID anymore. I'm not being glib. The honest truth is this article right here is the way that it works. State plants the flag, but CIA is the ones actually doing the work, and they used to use the cover of USAID or National Endowment for Democracy. And now they don't have those, so now they just have to tell the truth. Right? We're actually the ones doing this.
That's actually okay. Yeah, that's a good plausible reason. Oh, that's funny though. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. Sorry, Scott.
No, it's okay. Anyway, continuing on. Of course, no thinking person was entertaining any illusions that would be anything less than a Langley outpost in Latin America. This is a par for the course in South America. CNN notes the U.S. has routinely sent CIA directors or top intelligence officials to have sensitive meetings with world leaders to discuss sensitive matters that are based on U.S. intelligence collection. I think that's basically the bagman going and basically laying the nude photos out on the desk in front of it. Says either you do what we want or these go public. President Trump has declared Washington would effectively run Venezuela, despite being a hardcore leftist pro-Maduro figure. Talking about the Rodriguez. Enough already of Washington's orders regarding politicians in Venezuela, she said days ago. And then, did you guys see the, I guess there was a video that leaked of an internal meeting where they were talking about that. He basically said that you guys have 30 minutes or we're going to basically kill you all. You could either play ball or, suffer the consequences. And they said, oh, we'll play ball. So clearly there's some arm twisting going on here with Venezuela.
Full show.
So it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Do you want me to play this?
Yeah, go ahead.
The president of Syria, the president of Venezuela said that he has not been taking orders from you. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I don't know exactly what's going on there, but I haven't heard that at all. No, we have a very good relationship.
What about?
So, I think people should probably take a lesson from this and a lot of other things. It is fair to say that if you read Art of the Deal, whether he wrote it or not, he legitimately, not a joke, lays out his exact strategy he does every time, and somehow people keep getting rolled by it. It's amazing. So as soon as he makes a deal with you, he's not going to say anything negative as long as you continue to do what he agreed. You can publicly say you're not going to do what he agreed. You can call him a bastard in public. You can do whatever you like. He's not going to say a single bad word against you until you stop doing what he wants. And then at that point, he'll destroy you.
Yeah, you make a really good point, Watcher. I mean, I don't understand why these world leaders just literally don't read Art of the Deal and then apply that directly to like all of their diplomatic. I mean, he literally wrote a book and he follows the playbook for making his deals every time. Yeah.
Meticulously. Like I've never seen him stray from it. It's in every interaction that he has. He's doing it to Tim Walz right now. He's doing it to Frey. He's doing it to the leader of Venezuela. He's doing it to the president. He's doing it to the Ayatollah. Like it's all he ever does.
Well, it's worked for him, right? I mean, why change it up if you perceive your strategy is working?
And it works in such a way that even when people know what he's doing, it still works. And that's kind of the brilliance of it in some ways. I don't want to get off on him too much, but I think even the people who know what he's doing, and in fact, many of them for sure know what he's doing. That's why they turn around and say bad shit about him, but then behind the scenes keep doing what he said. That's a whole place so that they can try and maintain power and organization for their own people.
Yeah.
And he says that in his book. I understand people have to do this. They make a deal with me and then they turn around and call me a rat bastard. I don't care as long as the deal still holds.
Well, in local news here in Korea, there was just a 15% sanction levied against South Korea because the Korean government basically went and met with him. He smiled, slapped him on the back, said, yes, we'll do exactly what you want. We'll sign anything. They took the deal home and they never fucking signed it. They didn't do anything with it. They basically ignored it. And then he was telling the domestic media here, oh, no, we're going to get a new deal. Like there's no way, because we just can't, we can't do the deal that we made in Washington. So we'll have to get a new deal. And it's like, you don't think the fucking State Department doesn't look at your media to see what you're saying about these deals? Like just because you say it in Korean doesn't mean that nobody's ever going to know.
At the embassy whose job is to read the local newspaper.
Right. We have these things called embassies. Political intelligence is literally like an entire kind of branch of intelligence. KGB was really good at that, by the way.
Yeah.
Joe, I'm almost done with Hunt for Red October, man. That is such a great book.
It is. It's a classic tale. My favorite side story in it are the guys in Iceland. That one just speaks to me. This little squad of Marines surviving on their own, humping across Iceland. Yeah, that's legit.
Oh, wait a second. That's Red Storm Rising.
Huh?
That's Red Storm Rising. Hunt for
Oh,
October.
you said Hunt for October. My apologies.
Yeah.
You're moving through the whole series. That's right.
Yeah, I'm doing all the Jack Ryans. Even though there is an analog Jack Ryan in Red Storm Rising, it's not technically Rising. All right. I think that's all the odds and ends, isn't it? No. We got one more. Joe, you're gonna get a kick out of this.
Yeah, I was gonna say this next one's great. I can't believe they said this out loud.
Here we go. Yeah, let's listen. Just listen.
I think what's interesting is that Mertz has admitted, in private, at least, that they can't raise an army in Germany because it will be majority Muslim, because the Germans aren't having kids and the Muslims are, and they actually don't want to give hundreds of thousands of young Muslim men weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're worried about what would happen if they did that. So they can't raise an army in Germany already.
That's incredible.
That's a fact.
Wow.
And so I wonder, I guess if it's gotten to that point, we just have to readjust to a new understanding of Europe, right?
It's not just Germany, right? Germany is a symptom of a much larger problem.
Belgium. Joe, here's the thing, though. They're all up in arms. They I guess since Davos, they've had a big meeting. I guess it was yesterday, maybe, where they were talking about the sovereignty. We're going to have to take our own sovereignty in our own hands. We can't rely on our traditional allies, United States. And to that end, they're talking about increasing their military. And I think Ursula von der Leyen was talking about potentially having a pan-European military, like where all the militaries of all the countries would be merged into one military. I'm like, yeah, tell that to Poland. I think they will see you later if that you try to make that stick. But they're so interested in their sovereignty, Joe, but they're not interested in protecting the sovereignty of their own people when these Muslim colonizers come in to their country.
They're only interested in protecting their sovereignty from one angle, and it's the one that's been the most generous and the most steadfast allies since World War II. They don't care about handing over sovereignty to China. They don't care about handing over complete energy sovereignty over to Russia. They've proven that. Look, they're not a serious people, and as we've pointed out, they're not going to be around that long.
Yeah, I still have hope for Germany. I just don't think that hope is. I don't have a high confidence in that hope, if that makes sense.
I am personally trying to figure out how we're going to disarm all these soon to be Muslim caliphates, because that's probably going to be the struggle that my kids are in when I'm your age.
I mean, it's I just have a worry that you're going to basically see the return of the SS or something like that, like hardcore genocide and all, in order to get in order to fight this back. I mean, I hate to see it go that way, but
let me be the first to say
innocent people always die, right?
Let me be the first to say we're not getting involved.
Hey, Joe, you want to talk a little bit about tactical-wisdom.com?
First of all, I wanted to tell you that when I just reached over and jumped, remember the other day when you asked me to show you that waterproof pack liner? It's been sitting there ever since then, and just now randomly it decided to fall, so I had to catch it. For anyone who doesn't know, we have a bunch of these really cool pack liners. Anyway,
yeah, those are really cool.
Alice pack liner, or not Alice pack, Molly pack, and whatever, assault pack liners. I wrote an article last night, a second in a series on preparing for unrest. This one's on getting your comms in order. And I think that maybe tomorrow we'll write one on gathering information around you. And then on Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to do a live show over on Locals where we chat about putting it all together and taking these ideas and putting them into action to prepare yourself for the growing insurrection. For that one person, I did not say insurgency. I said insurrection. anyway, he was getting beat up pretty badly on the internet over the weekend about that, which, hey,
I saw
Joe. Like I saw his definition of what an insurgency is versus what is it called, supported resistance or something like that.
Yeah.
And here's the reason why he's wrong, because he's saying basically the state and local government is part of it, therefore it's supported resistance. They've already won the local government, right?
Greater Kurdistan.
Well, the problem is that they're not rising up against the state government; they're rising up against the federal government. So it is a federal insurrection.
It's the definition of an insurgency, right?
Exactly.
So from my point, Kurdistan is the exact analog, right? You say, well, it's not an insurgency because they are the state and local government in northern Iraq. Okay, but they are also trying to overthrow the Iraqi government and create their own state. So it is an insurgency. And these people have consistently said all along they want to overthrow the U.S. government. And barring that, they want to set up autonomous zones within the U.S. That's an insurgency, whether they want to overthrow the government or not. An insurgency is a refusal of the central authority. And like I said to that person in face-to-face, and I'll say it again, academics talk about the textbook definition. Those who have seen an insurgency on the ground can point at it and say that is an insurgency. So anyway, I digress.
Yes.
But back to the tactical wisdom. So there's an article up there. Read it, learn it. It got an attaboy from Ron Moeller this morning. So it goes into some detail about using radios, including some interesting features of this cool radio that is available at Brush Beater Store, the Radtel 950. Enables you to listen to UHF, VHF, CB all at the same time, and it allows you to jam mesh networks. But I wouldn't do that because the FCC frowns on it. Anyway,
wouldn't ever want to do anything to make them mad.
Right.
They'll come hunt you down.
They said that Matt's video of him jamming a mesh network was a violation of the law, but Matt's like, it was my own mesh network. It's not like I jammed somebody else's, right? Anyway, but you just can. So anyway, check out this one. It talks a little bit about signals intelligence, how to have some communication security, do all that, and good stuff in it. There's also a class on the schedule right now. I've got to update the rest of the spring, but there is a class on the schedule for next weekend. In case anyone is wondering, we are doing winter survival next weekend right here at the camp, and it's a good class. And I know that a couple of really neat folks from Colorado are coming, and you all ought to come and join them. So it's going to be a good class. Hopefully it'll be winter again in Montana by then. We're currently in the middle of false spring. It's like in the 30s and no snow, but hopefully we'll get some by then. I'd really like to make a snow cave, so let's get some snow. Anyway, check it out.
Very cool. All right. Let's see. Let's do the brush beater ad here. Joe just held up the Radtel, so we'll be talking some comms again. All right. So tonight we're digging into the swirling rumors around the Chinese coup, whispers of military purges, missing generals, alleged plots against Xi Jinping, the speculation running wild across the black box of Beijing politics, and continuing chaos in Minnesota, with Minneapolis streets still simmering with ICE enforcement clashes, fatal shootings, mass protests, and calls for de-escalation amidst federal surge operations. When global superpowers teeter on internal fractures and American cities teeter on the edge of unrest, one thing remains constant: the need for unbreakable comms. That's why we're proud to feature our sponsor, Brush Beater Store, led by NC Scout, the source for reliable off-grid comms that keeps groups connected when the official lines go dark or get compromised. Headlining this kit is the brand new Radtel RT950 Pro, a 10-watt VHF UHF powerhouse with dual band, dual watch, built-in GPS, APRS, position sharing, Bluetooth programming, Type-C charging, and a bright sunlight readable color display. Whether you're tracking rumors across continents or coordinating locally amidst domestic tensions, this radio gives you the reach and redundancy in real. Yeah, look at that screen, man. That's
Look at that screen. And look, I'm doing some great action poses of me with this radio. They're coming from the north. They're coming from the north.
Stand by. They come in threes.
Stand by.
Complete your setup with the Brush Beater's proven domestic comms essentials: Baofeng AR-152, the rugged 10-watt handheld with a massive battery life for extended ops; the Abri DM F8, affordable DMR digital entry point for encrypted group talk; high gain handheld antennas, programming cables, comms pouches, and covert earpieces for staying low profile when the eyes are on the streets. The radios without skill are just expensive bricks. Brush Beater's training turns gear into real capability. The RTO course teaches secure voice procedures, field expedient antennas, frequency management, signals discipline, vital when rumors turn into reality or unrest spreads. The advanced RTO course goes deeper, signals intel basics, electronic warfare awareness, and operating in contested or surveilled environments. Critical skills for staying ahead of when the tipping point arrives. Grab the Radtel RT950 Pro and build your net at brushbeater.store/collection/handheld-radio-ht. Sign up for training at brushbeater.store/collection/training. Use code CFC10 for 5% off all radios, accessories, and courses. Orders over $100 ship free. Big thanks to Matt at Brush Beater Store for keeping the CFC on the air while the world whispers about coups and cities burning. Head to brushbeater.store, enter code CFC10, and make sure your comms hold up when everything else starts to crack. Now, let's get back to the show. Gotta take a breath after that.
And in heater, the DM32UV is a DM152. They're essentially the same radio, just has more capability. So,
all right. I want to definitely put out the kind of take this with a grain of salt warning. So let me give you before we get into any of what we're going to talk about tonight. Let me give you this Jennifer Zhang, right? It's like if I'm gonna use somebody's information, I want to make sure that I'm at least giving you guys the biases and everything here. So Jennifer Zhang is definitely not pro-China. She is, if anything, anti-Chinese because she's I think a member of the Falun Gong sect. So those people have a traditional animus against the CCP. For basically persecution, rightly so. Let me be honest, but the problem that we have found, and Joe, I know you'll testify to this, that the Falun Gong will basically pick up any rumor, no matter how credible, and just run with it, just to discredit the CCP,
even knowing that it's not credible. Yeah.
Right? And yeah, they'll just make stuff up. So that being said,
in fairness. The CCP does that to them on a consistent basis.
100%. Well. Yeah. They're basically using the propaganda against the CCP. Now, that being said, so why am I taking somebody that I know is like that and featuring them in this? Well, there are a lot of videos being posted that purport to show troops moving. There are people who are on the scene that are basically saying, like, this is my eyewitness, the thing that I saw. So the point is the rumors are coming from a lot of different directions, and not all of them are complete, disinfo kind of ops type people. So we will continue to monitor this, but I just wanted to give an update because let's be honest, if this is 50% true or 25% true, then that means that our number one enemy and the country that poses the biggest threat against the U.S. is going into a period of instability, which is never good for the people, because one of the great ways for dictators to divert attention from domestic problems is to create splashy international, we need a win, all right, well, let's surround Taiwan or let's take Kinmen Island or, something along these lines. It's a tried and true play out of the dictator handbook. So that's the rationale behind why I want to, kind of talk about this stuff. All right, guys, just before we dive into this first post, which is kind of a little on the long side, it's almost like a regular story. Thoughts about what you've seen? Anything that kind of jumps out at you, or any other kind of caveats you want to give before we go into this rumit?
Well, I think that most of it is indeed rumit in China, and the fact that no information has come out either way officially tells you that it might be true that something happened, right? That there was potentially some sort of an issue at that hotel. And there are indeed troops on the street near the Forbidden City. So those are the things that we objectively know. Beyond that, it's all guesswork. So,
yeah. Well, and for the record, I wanted to try to get old Hong Kong here to because he's our kind of China expert, but he wasn't able to come. But Watcher, what did he?
Rowan says Jackie Chan looks rough in that photo.
he's gained some weight. Watcher, what was it that you said that Jim had expressed to you the other day?
Well, let me pull it up in the off screen and then filter it just to make sure I'm not. So he said, yeah, it's a huge deal, and he's excited to talk about it when he does get the chance to come on. And that these aren't just, it seems to be a lot more than rumors, and that if you track it all, it goes to several years back. It has to do more with family clans than parties.
Yeah. So like the other day, I talked about exactly that, right? It was, I guess it was Monday, right? I was saying that there's these kind of political families within China, and that this is kind of related to that, which I find fascinating, by the way.
That also brings us to the potential for a new warring states period, right? What people don't understand is how China works, right? All the industry in China is owned by the PLA, and each general has his own region where he controls the industry and all that kind of stuff. And way back in the early 1900s, they had the warring states period where all these generals fought each other, or a second warring states period. I guess we're looking at a third, where all these generals were fighting each other for control of key economic assets, not necessarily the country. And we have the potential for that again. And this goes to prove a point that we have all made many, many times, that whoever has the ability and the power to replace Xi Jinping will not be a net positive for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's no side that's just like, I can't wait to partner up with the U.S. It's basically like one pro-China person followed by another pro-China person.
Yeah.
That
would
right.
look like Jackie Chan if he followed the Steven Seagal diet. Well done. Well done.
All right. So this is the latest developments, according to this gal in Zhang Yuzi. Xi Jinping has not yet stabilized the situation. So this is her overall assessment. All right. Xi Jinping has not stabilized the situation. The Zhang Yuzi faction continues to take action. The highest power structure of the Chinese Communist Party has not completed restructuring. The military mutiny and coup attempt failed, and the matter has not yet been concluded. Multiple factions have already intervened and formed a de facto joint balance. Negotiations are underway. This is the only internally coherent logic that explains all the abnormal phenomenon. This is a forced and unfinished power restructuring rather than a coup, which has already succeeded or failed. So she says assessments of key time points. The evening of the January 18th was cross-confirmed that by multiple parties as the time when the actual conflict occurred, marking the starting point of a rupture in the power structure. January 19th and 20th, internal information began to circulate. Externally, it remained the rumor stage. Authorities had not yet informed the unified external narrative. This indicates that an internally publishable power characterization had not yet been formed. So basically, there is no consensus amongst all the power brokers, right? Because I think what was it, Watcher? You were telling it was what? Yeah, Watcher. You were saying this about the families, right? It's like if they're all sitting on the sideline, then basically there's no consensus behind Xi or Yushin's kind of like mandate of heaven or whatever it is they call it in China.
Yeah, that's a bad sign for the regime. If all that is reported is true, he's got like maybe one or two families that are backing him at this point, and that
you're talking about Xi.
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's
but I don't know that the other guy has a lot more than that.
No, but just because he doesn't have more, that's kind of a scarier situation. In Chinese politics, I personally, because again, we don't know that much. We only know what leaks, and only what seems important about what leaks is what we pay attention to. I don't know all the factions, right? So that has to say, where's the hidden hand? Who is everyone else backing then? If they're not publicly throwing their support behind the guy on the throne, who are they backing? Who are they waiting to back?
Crazy 10 says, so who gets a nuke? No. The question is, which side has the most nukes? Because I guarantee that the nukes are not a single unitary kind of position within China. All right, continuing on here. Assessment of factional structure and modes of action. The current actors are not a single faction. Yuja's military mutiny and coup did not succeed. Xi Jinping's countermeasure of arrest and purge action also did not fully succeed. The Jiang Zemin faction, the Yi Jingyang faction, the Li Yuan faction, and may have all intervened. This is not the action of a single faction. Faction. You know, it's kind of hard to say. Multiple factions have joined forces, compelled into cooperation. This is a forced alliance, not a voluntary alliance. The objectives of all parties are not completely aligned. Dissatisfaction with Xi Jinping is the basis for cooperation. Therefore, negotiations inevitably begin. A unified alternative authority cannot be formed quickly. Time is needed to coordinate interest and security boundaries. Preserving the party and preserving the regime are the driving forces. Let's see. So this is the assessment of Xi Jinping's current position. He's not fully taking control of the situation. If he had not already taken control, there should not have been a continued vacuum of eventual information. The status of key figures should not be abnormal. Lists of names and propaganda narratives should have been quickly unified. Even if he ultimately retains his position, his power will inevitably shrink. Xi Jinping has been repeatedly accused of having reached an internally unbearable risk threshold within the system. If he falls into disadvantage, he may relinquish the position of chairman of the Central Military Commission. If he holds a dominant position, he may abolish the CMC structure. All right. The evidence chain and the negotiations are underway. Abnormal official information, no new authoritative videos. Zhang Yuja's name has not been removed from official websites. Yeah, that's really interesting, right? That is probably very telling.
Well, so you remember all the other weird stuff that I know has been happening, like stuff that should have been censored on the internet being left up for long periods of time in China, and people not getting random knocks on their door when they post those things. That hasn't stopped. So presumably whatever faction has control of the internet censorship is also not playing ball. Like they censor it, but it takes days, whereas it used to take minutes, and then you would get a secret police knock on your door.
You know, two things. One, absolutely right. In an authoritative state like this, the other generals are all waiting to see who's going to emerge on top before they make a statement, right? I got to know who's going to win before I say something, because I don't want to say the wrong thing about the wrong guy and then get schwacked.
Yeah.
But the other thing is Hunch's $2 Rumble rant. For the Cliff Notes version of how inter-party politics work in a communist country, check out The Prophet's work, peace be upon him, The Cardinal in the Kremlin, or Red Storm Rising. Cardinal in the Kremlin is even better on the inner workings of the party and the second chief directorate of the KGB, of the counterintelligence apparatus, and how important counterintelligence is in places like China and Russia, because it's what controls the populace.
Yeah, that's a great point, Joe. And the interesting thing is that China is a mix between a Marxist society, but also this weird imperial, like what is it? The what is it? What were the guys who were in charge behind the power behind the thrones? I can't remember the name. The Manchurian, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I can't remember the names, but there were always like these people behind the thrones and these powerful kind of factions within Chinese history.
Kingmakers, right? Guys who kind of decide,
Well, I mean, eunuchs were part of it, but that's not what I'm talking about. There was a particular Chinese name, and I can't remember what they were called. Anyway, let me continue on here. So Xi Jinping's elder sister has not left her residence at the Shenzhen guest house since the 19th. Her behavior pattern is clearly inconsistent with the past. The guest house is under high security state involving control, protection, isolation. The logic of representative figures and intermediaries. It's necessary for non-direct parties to step forward to serve as buffers, to convey bottom lines, to avoid direct confrontation amongst all parties. When Jiabao is regarded as a feasible candidate, the key is not power, but his historical image of not clearly taking sides. He is a suitable as a transitional communication node. The Zhang Zemin faction, the Jianying faction, and the Liu Yuan faction are participating. In addition, it was already stated 2 days ago that Hu Jintao just passed away. Right. That amongst everything else. And by the way, the British Prime Minister is in town as well. So, anyway, this goes on, and I don't want to get too down in the weeds. I want to get to some of the other things that we're seeing about this, but this kind of gives you the idea that there is definitely not a consensus that's going on. It may not be outright warfare, but it's this very kind of Cold War. It seems to be going on within Beijing, and only time will tell. But there are reports that things are happening. So let's kind of go through some of those. This next post is troops enter Beijing. The reason for the activity is unknown. Beijing forces have been deployed near this forbidden city in China. The Chinese social networks Weibo has disabled all official military accounts, which is interesting. You're not going to open the video there, watcher?
Video?
I went on to the next one.
Oh, sorry.
I thought I said that. I'm sorry.
You don't want the audio.
I have no idea what it is. I can't speak Chinese, which is the
Chinese patriotic music.
Anyway, you got military vehicles heading into Beijing. You also had the roads into Beijing were closed off the other day, so I don't know if that's still the case or not.
Those trucks apparently ended up at the Forbidden City. So
Yeah, right. If you go down a little further, there's more video here.
Oh, you mean in the notes? Yes.
Yeah. All right, so this next one is this is a Chinese account because it's all in Chinese. But the good news is Grok. These are the troops along the.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm looking at the one you were just showing. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
But this is an anti-aircraft. Well, I mean, it very well could be Canada.
There was a very similar video in Canada, but it was a while back.
It says here the Great Heroes Squad is preparing for the Lunar New Year's event. The interesting thing here is the vehicles we were just looking at are an anti-aircraft unit, which is I don't know, interesting why you would deploy that to the center of the city. Moving on. So we've got the troops on the side of the road that you were just showing, Watcher. So what's this? This says this is January 27th in Tongzhou, Beijing. Troops reportedly supporting Zhang Yuzha march towards the center of Beijing. I think this guy is making that part up.
It does not look like they're anywhere near Beijing.
And who knows when this was taken?
Right. That's what I'm saying. This is all like,
file footage. Yeah. This right here actually looks like it's in the north near the Amur River based on the trees. I'm just saying. And it looks fairly cold there. So
next up here, we have another Chinese account. There's a lot of videos and images on this one in a thread, Watcher, so you can feel free to
just once again. Where are their PT belts? Right, I want to know where the PT belts
are. So it says here, latest developments in Communist China. The party's air force has started showing frequent internal movements. Many netizens in Guangdong and Shandong have filmed J-16 and J-20 fighter jets roaring overhead. In Shandong, groups of helicopters were captured flying past, and helicopters were also spotted in Guangdong and Jiangsu. And
What's
so,
in that is that normal or abnormal behavior,
right? I would assume he's trying to imply that it's abnormal, but I mean, we don't know.
But when you're fighting internal dissent, fighter aircraft is not really the tool you go with, right?
I think this is a show of force kind of thing,
but against whom? If you're fighting against the other generals, they got fighter aircraft too, and you'd be seeing some air to air. I just don't know that aircraft is indicative of anything.
Yeah, unless the kind of the areas of conflict are well outside of the areas where the fighters are based. So then all you're seeing are sorties, like additional sorties that maybe you don't get.
I was thinking more for just the people on the ground. It's maybe I'm wrong here, but in the same way we fly it over for the Super Bowl and that kind of thing, it is a show of, military might.
They're Klingons. They don't think the same way we do.
All right. That's a direct quote from Tom Clancy right there.
Yeah.
The post underneath this that has several like signs and stuff on it. This is if you just kind of go out to that main post again, the first initial post, and right there, that one. So this one here says after Zhang Zhuzhou was arrested, the latest developments in the CCP. Netizens are reporting multiple highways into Beijing, including Jinghua and Zhanggang, have been sealed off with no official announcements. Highway screens have been directing all vehicles to exit the highways. Moreover, netizens are reporting the navigation, road conditions, and speed limits alerts are gone. Can't get into Beijing anymore. In addition, the area around Beijing's Tiananmen Square is under heavy security, full of police guards. So, I mean, this is interesting. Ultimately, I have no idea what it all means. I think it's just important that we note it so that that we're aware if something definitive does come out, so that we know it's like, oh, well, we were expecting that or we weren't expecting that. All right, let's see. All right, so this next one is interesting. I'll leave it up to you guys. This is I think the next one is, unconfirmed China coup. It seems Beijing has been locked down. The 82nd Army has deployed troops to seal off the Communist Party headquarters and assembly halls inside Beijing. The 82nd Army is Zhang Yuzha's army. The information is emerging that Zhang Yuzha has been freed. There are also reports that Xi Jinping has fled Beijing. ? And so this is the translation of the above post, which is in Chinese. So I don't know. I would assume somebody who can speak Chinese is better at China stuff than I am. That may be a terrible assumption to make, but nonetheless, that's the one I'm making. There's some. Hold on a second.
Got a video next.
Yeah.
Well, this kind of stuff is exactly why Mao made the army report to the Chinese Communist Party and a central military committee rather than the individual generals, right? It was to head off this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't seem to still be working.
Hey,
Yeah,
Watcher, real quick. If you go to the note page, I inserted a link right before this next video because I want to read this and then play the video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is once again another Chinese account that X is translating for me. Breaking news: as of January 27th, the main force of the 82nd Group Army stationed in Baoding City, Hebei Province, the main force of the 83rd Group Army stationed in Zhenjiang City, Henan Province, and the main force of the 79th Group Army stationed in Liaoyang City, Liaoning Province, the main force of the 80th Group Army stationed in Jining City, Shandong Province. Reports indicate that these troops supporting Zhang Yuzha and Lu Zhenil have arrived in Beijing and its surrounding areas. They have formed an anti-Xi Jinping alliance, established a joint command post in the Beijing area. The anti-Xi Jinping alliance and the pro-Xi Xi Jinping Imperial Guards are locked in a stalemate. And then it says something extraordinary is happening. So
this would be interesting if true. And what would the U.S. do should these factions begin fighting? Most importantly for all of us here, Shandong Province is the home of Baofeng, and we need to protect Shandong Province because I need my supply of Baofeng radios. Wu Fang will win this war. So. CWSB has the Chinese translation in Rumble. So
we're here for the program. Anyways, yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Okay, so let's watch this video. And yeah, Joe, this could also be fiction as well. This could all be a very elaborate hoax. That being said,
Major Sarge, that rifle was the QBZ 95. It's actually it's outmoded, and they're bringing in a new one, the QZB or QBZ 191. But that photo had a 95 in it. It's a bullpup, therefore garbage.
Now that sounds a lot like a 25 or 30 millimeter cannon is what that sounds like.
It did. I don't know what that flash is. Those flashes appear to be lights, not actual gunfire.
So this could even be audio from anywhere else in the world, but it's worth bearing.
It's China or Chicago, right? Yeah. It could be either.
Going through my timeline right now, there are a lot of other videos showing military equipment moving around inside China.
Mr. Lamb says, Randy, we need updates from Randy. He's our guy for China updates. Yes, Randy at Not a Rubicon. Yeah.
All right. So this is another report from that Jennifer gal. What is her? Jennifer Zhang. I'll just read the first couple paragraphs. I'm not going to get too deep into this. It says, PLA uses Huawei custom phones, all devices confiscated after Zhang Yuzha's arrest. The mobile phones used within the Chinese Communist Party People Liberation Army system are specially customized by Huawei for the PLA and are called internal military phones. All of them have chips inside them that are custom made, and the operating system is also a specially compiled system, different from the systems used by civilians. This type of phone cannot communicate with civilian phones. So it's called a confidential device. However, officers at the rank of second lieutenant and above in the PLA are permitted to have 2 mobile phones, and some may have more. Regarding Zhang Yuzha this time, many officers and ordinary soldiers have absolutely no prior knowledge. They suddenly learned about it from the Ministry of National Defense News. And while they're still in shock or stunned after seeing it, the broadcast suddenly sounded ordering all officers and soldiers to immediately go to the political study rooms, except for those on duty. Everybody else had to go for political study. After the political study, they were required to hand in their mobile phones, passing them forward from front to back to turn them in. Now, this absolutely sounds exactly like what you would do in a total control authoritarian group like the CCP, as a basically to scan the devices to see if there is material on any of them, or to
let's see who has
basically
material.
ensure that you. Exactly right. It sounds exactly what they would do.
This photo is
so
indicative of China in general, because the 3 officers collecting phones all appear to be the same man. That's
well.
China.
I think this is just an AI image. Is what I think this is. Yeah, I think this reporter loves her AI imagery, but whatever. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Let's see here.
Well, I think a lot of this also is probably never let the lack of an image prevent you. Actually, it says it right here. Image is AI generated.
Yes, they use the rapid radios. That's exactly right.
Yeah. I think this is more a case of never let the lack of an image prevent you from being able to publish a good article.
Joe, unfortunately, they're replacing all the Huawei cell phones with Radtel RT950 radios.
Hey, it's a capable radio.
Yeah, and you can get it at brushbeater.store, code CSC10 for 5% off. All right.
Scott.
Yes.
I don't know what to say. I didn't think that we could allow Pornhub videos on the show. It's clearly labeled "Man Gets Rimmed by China."
This is what's funny. Those are Chinese men all standing around Keir Starmer, right? And they're all taller than Keir Starmer.
I mean, in fairness, when you have a billion people to choose from, you can usually find like 50 tall dudes. The basketball team also
I
is.
suppose that's true, but I just don't get. I don't think tallness is a very big virtue. Although those SKSs do look pretty small.
Well, and let's be honest. Look at the Chinese guy in back of the line, and consider how tall these guys are compared to the Chinese guy.
Farmer,
yeah, he's shorter than Keir. Look how these guys are all a head taller than that dude. I have no idea how tall is Keir Starmer. Is he like 5'8" or something like that?
He's got to be all of 5'8", maybe.
I think he's spiritually 5'0".
Keir Starmer height. It's probably not a very common search. Height.
6 feet tall.
5'8". No, he's 5'8".
It says 6 feet tall here.
Where?
Yeah, Evening Standard.
Everywhere I'm looking,
according to who, Scott? Did the
I know I'm
Keir
with you.
Starmer?
I'm with you, brother. I literally just
sounds
said the first
like
thing.
what
Yep,
Keir
you're right.
Starmer
It says
would
5'8" here too. I found another one that said 5'8".
There's an even better photo. It's Albania's 6'7" tall prime minister standing next to Keir Starmer. And it's very funny.
What's crazy was my wild ass guess off the cuff was absolutely correct. I said 5'8". I was like, he's probably like 5'8". Anyway, so there may be some sort of weird internal. Speaking of weird internal struggles in China, guess the man for the job just showed up.
This is highly suspicious. Highly suspicious.
Well, he wanted to defend. Jim wants to come in and defend his height because he's taller.
I was going to say, we start talking about the height of Keir Starmer, and Jim's like, I must appear for the 5'8" people of the world.
The only thing that's 5'8" that I appear for is a good-looking woman, Joe.
There you go.
I like Marines, but sorry, dude. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Hey, brother. It's been too long. You following this crazy news out of China?
I haven't seen any crazy news out of China. I only been looking at it for 40 years. Yeah.
I know that's what I'm saying. It was supposed to be
this
ironical.
so the problem with crazy news in China is this is just more of the same, right? But in this case, it's got a lot of stuff hanging to it, right? I think the technical term is strategic dingleberries. Yeah. So basically, long story short, about 30 some years ago, I think the standing committee of the Communist Party and the leadership decided to get the PLA out of the room for running the country.
Yeah.
And so they chased all the guys who had dual portfolio out of the room, out of the standing committee area, shrunk it, tightened it up, made it only civilians. And I think what the bug was that they saw in 89 that having your own army control is helpful. And before that, what used to happen is the guys that ran Xinjiang and Tibet and the autonomous regions had their own army, right? They had their own soldiers, the Bintuan out in the West. And I think it began to creep people out, right? So they figured they'd move them. So they moved them over to the CMC. And this was done for modernization purposes and improvement of relationship and, focus on mission and modernization of it, i.e. the American threat, the European threat, and just making the corrupt backwaters of the PLA uncorrupt. So they started giving money to the laboratories, so the researchers and stuff, and they were empowering the PLA that way. What they didn't understand is the PLA guys would go and work directly with the guys at the lab, and hence all the missile guys who've been getting taken down. It's not just because they're missile guys. It's probably because they've been skimming in the background on the projects that get selected, which may not necessarily be the best projects. Not like the United States has ever had that problem. But there's been skimming going on, I think. But this latest round is smells more political, and it smells more like this is one of the meetings over the table in the bar where the organized crime guy looks at his lieutenants and he goes, "You guys are with me, right?" And they kind of look around the room and roll their heads and take a sip of their drinks and go, boss, it's getting kind of hard because, and then that's when the axes start flying. And it, like all good PRC leaders, they've got a lot of money in the background. So they're all vulnerable, but everybody knows they're vulnerable. So the messaging that's been coming from the PLA to the leadership is clearly not positive. And the messaging that's coming from the leadership to the PLA is, I got to hang someone. And if you notice, they're not killing them in the street. They're putting them away. So we've got a lot of party discipline going on, but it's very public. So this has been going on for a lot longer than the observers know. But the outcome is going to be that she is in a position of power over the PLA. The question is the PLA going to have the power it had before she went after it and decapitated a lot of it? Yeah, a lot of guys will say, well, there's a whole layer of functional officers now in the PLA that are still there, right? The people who didn't poke their nose into Zhongnanhai to get political with the boys. It's one of those weird things where you hope. I am hopeful that there are sound minds in the command structure in the PLA at this point. Mm-hmm. If there are not, that bodes badly for stability, and it bodes badly for Xi Jinping.
Hutch Dirty Roofer for $2 says let's see. Observation: if Xi Jinping retains power, it might be the best news Taiwan has had in years. Xi will need to break down the military leadership to reestablish loyalty. Thereby ruining large-scale readiness.
Yeah. So Taiwan is complicated too right now because you've got a resurgence of the KMT. Somebody is paying the KMT.
Yeah.
Right. KMT is all of a sudden flush and up, and its feathers are shiny, and it's clucking around the island. Watcher, see if you can pull up an article on KMT Chinese Party cooperation. There's got to be one in the last week or two. It always comes back, and it's the soft subversion of Taiwan. So Taiwan arrests a bunch of guys for spying, right? Mainline arrests a bunch of guys for spying. The next thing that happens is everybody in the room looks at each other and says, let's try to push this into the political realm. So think the office in the standing committee that controls Taiwan. And on the Taiwan side, it'll be the KMT. What do they got? KMTC. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Par for the course. So all, as we talk about all the time, all the pieces are moving.
Yeah,
so
there
you go. Defense budget blocked. So the KMT has convinced everybody to give peace a chance. Let us go talk to our brothers in the CCP. It never fails. And this is one of the reasons that people are always afraid of giving the best technology to the Taiwanese. And this is the Chinese use this over and over and over again, right? So it's come back. They're going to start smacking them around. Everybody's going to start playing Doubting Thomas. What we should be doing is arming the shit out of the Taiwanese, in my book. Clearly, you don't give them the stuff that you want to keep quiet, but you give them the stuff with which they can overwhelmingly defend themselves.
Yeah, and that's the best stuff from 10 years ago.
And it's in the budget, right? They paid for it. It's just we don't seem to have the sack to give it to them, right? There's always a reason we can't, right? Oh, we got to give them to Ukraine, or we're so focused on the F-35 that we can't build any F-16s this week. Parts, radars, and the Taiwanese are asking for the upgraded version, which is what the Victor is, a V, F-16V.
Did you go with that instead of the X?
I don't know where they are. It's all I know is it's a really, really nice aircraft, and it's got some whistles and bells, and it's got good radar, and it carries AMRAAMs, and it carries the advanced AMRAAMs, and so it can do things. It's a nice rocket sled. So
excellent.
We're in a good place.
Yeah, I mean,
do you know anything about how the Barracuda programs have they started making those? That new
the UUV,
the super cheap, can be produced in a car factory missile that.
I hope so.
Oh yeah, no. If you haven't looked into that, he designed it specifically for. We designed it for everywhere, but he had Taiwan in mind.
Yeah. So the Chinese theater has always been the UUV theater. The Chinese started working on UUVs way, way, way back because they understood how cheap it was. And if you don't think that they're putting them on those militia fishing boats, you're nuts. So when those militia fishing boats get together, they're going to be dropping lots of UUVs in the future. So they'll come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and when you're saying UUVs, you're unmanned underwater vehicles.
Yeah, imagine nice little torpedoes that have a very specific function. They can.
So here, let me pull this up for you.
So you're talking the Barracuda. Barracuda is a missile by Anduril, the disposable one.
The
cruise missile.
It is, and it costs less than So what you're looking at. Everything all involved costs less than a family sedan.
So it's like the Scalp missile, but cheap.
Well, Jim, the problems we've been talking about with all these exquisite weapons, that we produce.
Anduril listened.
Yeah, they're basically They agreed with us and had engineers that they could, turn on to making the things that we've been talking about.
Yeah, the closer you get to toy pricing, the better you are. And the Chinese produce all the toys. So when Mattel moved all production to China, everybody goes, "Oh, it's just toys." And I remember looking at them and going, "No, it's 1 million of any unit."
Yeah, so
I said, right, exactly right. It's not the toy; it's the manufacturing paradigm that creates the toy.
Absolutely, and I like Lucky. I think he's got a good idea. The difficulty with Lucky is that Anduril has sucked all the oxygen out of the development atmosphere. So they're becoming a massive prime of their own, but they really, really should, if he was on the mission that he espouses, should be working really closely with lots of young companies trying to stay ahead of this.
I was actually seeing an article the other day about you can't buy Anduril, but what you can do, or you can buy stock in companies that are heavily supporting, like part of their downstream and upstream supply chains.
Exactly. There's a universe around that company that really needs what Lucky's doing. I don't have a visibility into what they do, but I assume that he's building supply chain capability. The second thing is, once you design something and you have a snapshot of it, much like his little Barracuda there, you notice there are how many versions of it? 6 or 8 already. If we've learned anything from the Ukrainian war, don't stop revving your product, right? You're going to need to be changing that product on a dynamic level. You can't lock functionality on day one. You absolutely have to push it out into almost like a video stream of capabilities. In other words, let your boys in the field MacGyver the shit out of it.
By the way, yes, the F-16V model was the model you were thinking of.
I think they bought it 20 years ago too. We just haven't given it to them. It's like, just keep revving it and revving it. And it's the nightmare for Taiwan, which is spend more money on your own defense. Okay. And then, 4 years of Biden dragging his feet.
Well, Jim, let me kind of steer you back to the question of the day is like, what do you make of the rumor that's basically going all over the place? Watch, I'm going to drop a couple links in the private chat as he's talking here. Because you've got reports of military equipment moving all over the place. You've got specified units that are aligned directly with.
That's People's Armed Police. Yeah, I'm going to say that's People's Armed Police. I can't see exactly the camo pattern, Joe.
Well,
looks like a PAP vehicle.
Just to read what this report says. By the way, this is a Japanese account, so take that for whatever. It says the Haidan Command of the Beijing Garrison of China has entered a combat-ready state with the 1st Guards Division on 24-hour standby. It seems the 83rd Group Army of the Central Theater Command has also entered Beijing for support. Things appear to be quite tense. Also, Japanese media is ignoring
it. Well, yeah. Well, when's the last time we had movement like this? Would have been 89. It would have been 79. They move sometimes, and clearly somebody's tail got lit on fire in the PLA. But this could also be the party asserting itself by calling certain commands and saying, we're nationalizing your command. Come here now. Right. So I'm going to guess it's a combination of all the above. But when you see those wheeled guns, it's usually PAP. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to watch who pops out of this. The hard part is that all of the command structure is gone, basically, right? And we talk about this, guys. The colonels that pop out of these things, and so you can end up with colonels who follow their general, who go into the warlord cycle. And a couple of the pundits have been talking about the potential for a warlord breakdown of the country. It's their natural fallback, right? So since 49 is the exception. The rule is 49 back to millennia. And when you have many periods that are fragmented, you have periods called warring states, you have all that kind of stuff going on inside what was historical China. Their propensity is to worry about family, worry about clan, so family name. So what is their surname? And then there's regionality. And then there's the nation, right? And the Chinese Communist Party has tried to break all that down, but it appears they've been horribly unsuccessful. So
one of the things I wanted to kind of just get your take on, because we learned a little bit about this on Monday, and we were reading a story about it that referred to it, was that, like the whole kind of like, the powerful families, right? The Hu Jintao family, and you got like all these, and they're all related to original members, like
Princelings.
Yeah, right. So give me a little bit of background on that. Is that as big a thing as they're making out to be? And
well, so this was the part that I think the schism with the PLA many years ago, and if people say it's not a schism, it's planning, it's professionalization of the PLA. I mean, they had a lot of good language for it. But yeah, the further you get from an event, and I hearken back to, Tony Soprano kind of activities. You're sitting around the table and it's, what have you done for me today? And you got the general looking at the standing committee going, hey, you guys, you bumped us out of here. Ha, 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 drink, drink, drink. By the way, I want all this stuff. Right. And then the capo looks at him and goes, sorry, get out of my office. Right. And that angst and shame doesn't go away for the guy. Right. And so there's a lot of back channel that's gone on historically. You've seen the corruption sweeps that he's done all the way back to Chongqing and before. It's all political, right? It's okay if you're taken, but take within the boundaries of what's acceptable among your peers.
Yeah.
And then when somebody gets to be politically unhappy, they come in and say, oh, you're taking money, knowing full well that everybody's taking money. So it's the Achilles heel of the party is that everybody knows that everybody took money. And that's why you have to stay on good grounds with the bosses, right? But they will ultimately turn on you if they have to. And that's what you're seeing here is that planned instability that occurs inside the party. Whereas, in our government, in the Congress and the Senate, it's the planned problem is senators who just have no motivation to move because they take things personally. And then you got the Congress critters running around every 2 years trying to fund whatever they're doing. And as you get into the final year of an election cycle here, you got people out there throwing everybody under the bus. So same thing happens in China, but it happens on 5-year and 10-year scale. And so we're in one of those 5-10-year cycles, New People's Congress. They're going to change their 5-year plan. They're going to reset their strategy. And probably when they went to the PLA said, hey, all that money we made in the last cycle's gone. We need more money. And difficult.
Yeah.
They got pushback.
All right. Anything else we need to talk about with China, guys? I'm kind of China'd out at the moment, but
I do
China's
have
out. There's no such thing.
I know, right?
I do have Joe provided a meme to kick off the next segment, but I need to be responsible and warn everyone. Caution those with weak constitutions.
If we had to see it, so do you.
I share this one. This just really tells me what happened last night. It's great.
Elon's soulmate, juicy soulmate, right?
Smell
me? I don't know. Anyway, I hear she got smelly. Ilhan Omar looked directly at the guy and nodded before he sprayed stuff at her. Wow, no, you don't say. Let's watch. Let's see. There. By the way, if you don't know already, the guy there, point out the guy who's going to do the acting here. That's him right there, front row center of her press conference there. And let's see how she.
Well, do you want me to paint the picture first? Because I know quite a bit about this guy. We researched it last night.
Well, let me read the caption here first, and then you could add some more before we watch the video. So he also sprayed her on the torso rather than directly between the eyes, which was where most actual lunatic people would hit you. So yes, go ahead, Watcher.
So, dude is a crazy person. He's a deep alcoholic. He was married and had kids, and she left him because he's crazy. That was years ago. And then he started I think 2 years ago, started dating a woman in the Somali community in Minneapolis. And she recently broke up with him, and he has been a crazy fat alcoholic mess kind of all over the place.
So what you're saying, he's just the guy they would pay for an op like this.
You are 150% correct, particularly because guy has a Twitter page that's supposedly him. It does, it all tracks that it would be him. He's posted 6 times ever, and they've all been right-wing stuff. So literally the exact type of person that you would pay for an op like this. So
when were his posts? In the last 6 months?
I can pull it up. I can pull up his page if you want. Hold on.
Well, let's watch the video first, and let's see how she cues him.
Cannot be rehabilitated. We must
this is a 2-minute
abolish
video,
ICE
though.
for good.
Must abolish ICE. He's reading from our play.
Secretary Kristi Noem
Our
must
playlist.
resign or face impeachment.
That's his
Yeah,
cue.
she literally looked at him and it looked like she nodded at him.
This is so staged. I have seen third grade productions of Jack and the Beanstalk that were less staged than this.
Listen, if he really wanted to harm her, we would have knocked that whole thing over into her.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's see what he says or whatever.
Oh, this is gonna be wild. Just so you're aware, like so this is him real quick. We'll just 34 followers. January 3rd was like the last thing that he really did, which was talking about U.S. helicopters over Venezuela, right? But if you go to his replies, dude was into some dude was kind of a wild troll. Last what he sent was January 8th, and it was about some liberal spurging about the shooting, and he goes, you disgust me. One shot fired, not multiple. Shot came through the front windshield because the guy was in front of her car. Now, he was wrong, but anyway,
the shot did come through the windshield because he was in front of the cars. Talk about the shooting.
Well, that's true, but he did not shoot once. It was 3. But
yeah. Anyway, that whole thing is very staged. I'm sorry.
Let's go. We didn't even watch the attack, so let's actually watch the video. Like, he just stood up, and you paused.
Oh no, he sprayed. He did this. Does it go longer than the little spray? Because he did the spray. Yeah. Oh, my stage.
Oh, and she
she
comes
knows who
at
he
him
is.
like she's gonna hit him or something.
And he was sitting there being all jinky too.
Yeah.
You get a guy like that who's as jinky as this guy.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This is so fucking staged that you're like, oh, it's just because it's Ilhano. No. If literally any person on the right pulled this, I'd be doing the exact same shit. That's fucking staged.
Yeah, the interesting thing is a peaceful protester sprays her with water and she balls up her fists like she's gonna chase him down, because that was what she had prepared for. Because she wants to look tough.
And it looks like her crack security team there consists of my buddy from DUST, Detroit Urban Survival Training. Because if your bodyguard is wearing a Bluetooth headset, pay real money and get a real bodyguard. But I'm just saying.
Okay. Yeah, I turned the sound off. Sorry, Jim. I didn't figure anybody needed to hear the rest of that. What's my first reaction when a client is sprayed with an unknown liquid substance? Is to run over and hug them, of course.
Her next conscious thought would have been, why am I suddenly in the green room? Because my people know you just grab her and go, no matter what she says, right? And that's part of our pre-event brief. Hey, if something happens, just so you know, one of my people is going to physically pick you up and remove you from the scene, and there's no argument, right? That this would not have happened if this was a real event.
And then instead they hug her and then, I'm going to go get him. And then she goes right back to doing her speech.
Yeah. She's like, I'm fine. All right. So the next one, let's see. What was it? Only a Somali would hire an actor with 68 IQ. This bad for a staged attack to gain sympathy. This one actually has a better view of the actual liquid being sprayed.
Fine or face
Yeah, you can see the liquid.
Yes.
Whoa.
I don't know.
And he walks into the tackle too. Somebody says in the chat. It's actually a good point.
Yeah, actually, the tackle was coming because he hunched his shoulders just before he got hit.
Scroll. Yeah, what? Hey, scroll down, watcher. There's some video of him like when he's just sitting there and just
This is AI fake, by the way.
That's him sitting there with his water. He looks legitimately
is
crazy.
not water.
That is
I
not
am
water.
telling you right now.
He sprayed her with some vodka.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if he sprayed her with something that's yellow, so maybe I don't know, whatever. But whatever, that is not water in that bottle. That's vodka or gin.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is yet another crazy thing happened in Minnesota while you weren't looking.
If y'all Google the actor Jim Glorioso, tell me that's not him. Sorry, Jim. If you're watching the show, sorry, bro. That looks like you. I just want to know where you were. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, before we go any further, Jim, it's been a while. What's your take on all the happenings in Minneapolis?
It's always been a Marxist hotbed because they've always had the Socialist Party up there that was pretty active. It came over from Scandinavia and took root there quite happily, right? But they've always had a very strong liberal bent. So that's always been, let's say, 11-15% of the voting population. And that caused a lot of people to go there. They've also had this very broad sanctuary program. And there are a lot of church groups, the old Lutheran church groups that pulled a lot of people in as refugees. They had a run with the Hmong out of Vietnam. They did very well. It almost pissed them off how well the Hmong did because they didn't need help after the first cycle. So they got the Somalis, and the Somalis have been the gift that keeps on giving for the DNC, right? So they've monetized a whole generation of Somalis. They're all in the same business, and it's skimming the U.S. government. So that's how their Congress critter can make so much damn money so quickly. Though she seems to be under scrutiny again. But this all is contrived. This is small-scale tribal politics happening within a bubble of blue city management, which is organized crime. It's clear Minneapolis, like L.A. and New York, is a giant political machine that's been feeding itself off of free money from the federal government. And the only way these cities actually survive is this free money. So Trump is their nightmare right now. He isn't our nightmare. He's their nightmare because he's going to shut all these spigots off. So Besant is doing a very good job of identifying the problems. Treasury and IRS will come in and start shutting the spigots. Problem is, a lot of people will go without work. And that has Trump concerned on a macro level because he's only got a few months left to show he's doing something constructive. And, the Senate up there, you get Klobuchar out there screaming and yelling. She's clearly in the last few years gone through anger management, but you can see it peak out every now and then. So they're in serious trouble up there.
Yeah.
Rowan has just been full of bangers today.
I know. Scandinavian prudes. All right. So if you've been following the show, we're big fans of Bovino. Yes, we criticize his great coat sometimes, but hey, you can't take the good with the bad. There was I don't know if this was a rumor or if this was something that happened initially and then it was reversed. But let's just kind of read this and we will kind of open the floor up here. Following our report, President Trump has personally stepped in and saved Greg Bovino's role as commander-at-large of the U.S. Border Patrol. My sources tell me that Kristi Noem fully backs this decision. Thank you, 47. 80 million Americans voted for mass deportations, and we back you wholeheartedly in making it happen. That's Nick Sorter. Okay. What's your guys' takes on this news? Do you think it was a real relieving, and then it got reversed?
No.
Where do you think?
No, that doesn't. Okay, if neither Trump or Kristi Noem, Kristi Noem is who he would report to. Okay.
Yeah.
If neither of those two wanted it, there's nobody in between them that could then try and fire him. This is really weird. I like Nick. I think what happened is Nick heard some rumors on the ground, put them together in the least charitable means possible, put it out as a tweet so that he could get views and clicks on it because he's new media. And again, I don't blame new media for doing this. What's the point of media? Is to grab eyeballs, right? And if you hear something and you know fact 1 is true and you know fact 2 is true, why not package it in a way that gets most clicks? That is what I think happened here. If I'm wrong and like he was like talking with Greg Bovino and Greg Bovino told him, hey man, they're coming after me, it's all internal politics, please save my job, then I apologize, Nick. But Nick came out and I was there. I asked like I was on Twitter when he was trying to go through this in another thread before he made the initial response. He was like talking about this in somebody's replies. And I go, Nick, what is your source for this? And he goes, my source is me, which is, that is literally saying my source is trust me, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I think I kind of got the feeling that this was either so in fairness, Bovino is not the head of the Border Patrol, right? He is
no CBP.
Well, no, I think he is in let's see.
He's technically like a regional director who is filling in as a commander at large in the field of the surge force.
Right. It's Michael Banks. He's the guy who is the actual head of Chief of the Border Patrol. And then for Commissioner of CBP is Rodney Scott. So these guys theoretically could have potentially made a decision and then it got canked at the higher levels. But
they wouldn't have made a decision to fight. Look, here's what here is the everybody needs to remember what the actual news source that got put out was. We got told, and this was the initial thing, he's being demoted. No, what they were saying is he's being sent back home and someone else is achieving his thing in the thing. And then somebody was like, well, what does that mean? And they're like, well, he's not going to be the commander at large anymore. Yes, of the operation happening in Michigan. But then Nick ran and said, oh, that means he's not going to be the commander at large of the Border Patrol anymore. And that's not anything anybody said. That's what I mean by like they put together disparate fragments of information in the least charitable way possible for their side.
Yeah, so it says here that as commander, commander at large, he reported directly to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. So she would have had to have been the one who basically pulls him from that position, and that's why I think you're right on the money. I think this is something that somebody thought might happen, but it didn't happen.
He's also probably freaking exhausted.
Yeah, so he's been 20 18-hour days.
Yeah, so this is called good leadership. So, and I think he's caught a really bad rap. I mean, the photos of him walking in his trench coat. If anybody wants to understand fascist-looking uniforms, pull up the Massachusetts State Police, or better yet, the Rhode Island State Police, and look at that. So this is Congregationalist world, hard-ass policing 101, which is if they're ours, we want them to look exactly like 1933. They're good guys. I'm not disparaging the state police of those states because they're good cops. But you want to talk about uniforms that look like the brain bug is going to get interrogated? That's them, right? So yeah, this is just all cheeseball. And the Border Patrol's done really well. Bortek did well. Jesus, the Bureau of Prisons guy with the shotgun is tear jerking, actually. I hope they do something for that young guy because that's a suck job on the best day, and he was doing a good job. So, let's stop the cheese ball on these guys.
He even did the small things right. He even knew to give a good comment that was a good comment, and then when the media tries to entrap you with follow-on questions, just say no further comment.
Yeah. Hutch Dirtier for $2 says
name and address. I'd like to send him a box of beanbag rounds for his shotgun.
Exactly.
Because if it had been me in that door, they'd have been like, you went through how many beanbag rounds?
Joe, I'd like to send him a box of flechette rounds is what I'd like to send him.
No. He did just fine.
Exactly. But you see, the BOP guys are used to being surrounded by mentally ill lunatics. They're almost the perfect. They're almost the perfect selection for this.
Hearts of Dirty Ripper for $2 says yellow journalism 2026. Yeah. I think you're on to something there.
Well,
all right, moving on. So President Trump directly supports Bovino. I think this is an important thing for him to say.
Hold on. CWSB said if Joe had been there, it would have been a belt-fed shotgun. I need to know more. The desire to know more intensifies.
I'm doing my part.
I definitely need a belt-fed shotgun.
Do you want to know more? Click here.
Exactly. Anything with a bayonet lug.
Well, yeah.
Yep, you bet. All of them were not going to allow criminal illegal aliens to walk the streets and have more Molly Tibbetts, Jacqueline Nungare's, and all the other ones. I mean, you're worried about numbers. I'm worried about the deaths of Americans. Let's talk about that a little bit. Maybe Jacqueline Nungare, what her last moments were like. How come we never talk about that? And you're worried about numbers. Wait, no, hold on. Numbers? Jacqueline Nungare. Numbers, but your numbers, Jacqueline Nungare, well, actually, we never hear about her or the other thousands of American citizens. I'm worried about that vastly more than a number or a date. We're going to make Mom and Pa America safe. President Trump is, Secretary Noem is, and we're going to get them all.
I love him, but I will also say, don't let him talk about the 2A anymore. just defer all 2A questions to someone else.
I hate to say it. There's a lot of police out there that feel that way, though. And it's kind of like, they think because they carry a gun, then nobody else should have to. No, fuck that.
Well, it used to be considered one of the perks of the job, right? So in states like Massachusetts, Minnesota, it was a perk of the job. You had to have a friend to get a permit, right? California's always been that way. You had to have a friend to get a permit. So it was always something they dangled. But, the difficulty you have is these guys are not used to working city streets, right? They're used to working edges of the planet, and they often operate in spaces where the public should not tread, right? So the border region, they've got pretty broad sway within strike of the border. And then post 9/11, they moved them to, maybe airports, maybe trains, maybe buses, right? They got the Viper teams out. So the mission of the internal security organs in the U.S. is broad and massive. So having everybody go back and say, "Oh, we didn't know," is kind of a reach. But I like the guy. I think he's done a great job. But he's got to be fucking knackered. So yeah, go back. Yeah. Where is he? Yuma or somewhere down there?
Central Valley. I think he's like,
Go back, chill out.
Yeah, he's back, chill California, out. I believe.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing is they sent him home and he took zero break. He was on camera within hours of landing, making arrests.
Yep. You see, making arrests down there these days is it's like going to a beach club, because the only people who are coming across the border are really bad actors. Hence the gun battle in Arizona, by the way.
Which nobody's talking about.
So the only people with the planning, surveillance, and capability to get across the border appear to be the cartels. So each event is going to become much more militarized as time goes on, because it's going to get harder and harder and harder. So
20 miles militarized zone on the U.S. border. Who said that?
Yeah, exactly. 20 kilometros. Yeah, that used to be very helpful. I mean, I remember pulling over at those stops many, many times, and guy looks at you, goes, "Citizenship," and you nod. And they look at the back of your car and they see how your suspension is hanging, and then they let you go.
I want to just real quick. There's a breaking stuff in the chat here. I think Jay Clark needs to start this as a business. The 12 gauge belt fed version of the PKM. Jay Clark, this is your $1 million idea. Go forth, make it. Me and Joe will both buy one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Sega 12 is a good start, but it is only a 7-round magazine, so we need to.
I thought they made a drum for that. I thought they made a drum for that.
Those drums don't work consistently.
It sucks. Yeah, it's bad.
Works good in Call of Duty.
Okay, so as long as we talk about memes, this is a perfect. I have to show you this, guys. Gents, last night Air Force One retagged itself as Vance One, and spent 2 hours drawing the Vance meme in ADSB over Mar-a-Lago.
That's really funny. In a world of AI, this is exactly the effort we want to see people put out.
Oh, what a world.
Yeah, they just messed up when they titled that, because if it was Vance 1, it would have been Air Force 2. But anyway.
All right. Let's look at the.
We got a video now.
here.
Oh yeah, he's out doing campaign events again already.
Yeah, he's out in the campaign trail already. So let's see what old Trump has to say about Bovino.
Is this a pullback?
I don't think it's a pullback. It's a little bit of a change. Everybody in this room that has a business, you make little changes. Bovino is very good, but he's a pretty out there kind of a guy. And in some cases, that's good. Maybe it wasn't good here. But you have to understand, when I watch some of the people that I've been watching over the last few weeks, these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid agitators. These people aren't normal, like OG, that, they're incensed about anything. How do you get incensed when you go into a state and you're taking criminals out? You're taking monsters out, murderers. We had 11,888 murderers let into our country by other countries, by Biden with his open border stupid policy. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You talk about bad policy. Open borders where people were coming, so the whole world, the Congo, Venezuela, all over the world, they're letting people in from their prisons and they're feeding them into the United States. And they're murderers and they're drug dealers and they're everything else you can think of, every bad name you can think of. And they let them in by the millions. We closed the border. We have nobody coming into our country anymore.
So pretty full-throated. I mean, here's the thing. I think in a way you could say that, maybe the Border Patrol are not the right guys to deal with violent mobs. Maybe that's local police. Well, shock of all shocks, when the local police got involved, all of a sudden most of these riots got shut down. And I think that's correct. The problem is that Bovino and his guys were sent out to do a job and they weren't given the local protection. And I get the feeling that Trump made Waltz and Frey an offer they couldn't refuse. And all of a sudden,
I can't remember who pointed it out. But somebody pointed out the fact that the Minnesota State Police made very short work of the protesters last night is proof that they could have all along.
Exactly.
And the point is that it was withheld intentionally. And I hate to be the one to keep using that word, but that's an insurrection.
Breaking news.
Of the government.
Topical breaking news. The same little merry band of hackers that have been really going after these signal chats found out who the person who was pulling the license plates was.
Yeah.
And as of this morning, they're no longer able to pull license plates for their little ICE terrorists tracking group.
Interesting. All right. Here's this next one. I think so. Here's the other thing with this next report. I think you're going to find that this is this is a version of the events, but not.
Let me finish my thought though. That got interrupted.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
A portion of the Insurrection Act wherein the president can invoke an insurrection is the part that the media always skips over. They say a governor has to request it, but then there's a comma and it says, unless the president can show that the governor refuses to deal with the insurrection. And that's where you were until last night. The governor had refused to deal with the insurrection. That was all I wanted to say.
No, I think that's well said, Joe. And they could always have dealt with it. They just didn't want to. And then, and by the way, some of the protesters must not have got the memo because they show up at Waltz's office and start protesting immediately. Like, hey, you turned your back on us. You stabbed us in the back.
How dare you answer the phone when Donald Trump calls?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, he probably laid out the case against him. All right. ICE agents were blocked from entering the Ecuadorian consulate in Minneapolis amidst reports of illegals being harbored inside. So here's the thing. I don't feel like this guy was trying to get in. I also think that he tried to talk to the guy, and the guy just kept speaking over him, and so I think he just like, this guy's. I'm not gonna get anything out of this guy. I turned around and walked away. So I know, Joe, you posted about this. Let's watch the video first, and then I want to get your comments on it.
This is because of relax. Okay, relax. Listen. If you touch me, I will grab you. If you touch me, I will grab you. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. You cannot enter. All right, here go. You cannot enter. This is the consulate. This is the foreign government property. You cannot enter. Right? Close the door. Right? Yes. Over there. Right? Yes.
Sí, lo estoy firmando.
No, pero ya se me cuando quisieron perseguir a las personas a la casa, ahí pasaron a la me tocó hablar.
So I get a feeling that guy wasn't really trying to get in there, and once the guy said what it was, he said, "Oh, okay, never mind," and backed away. Joe, what was your take?
I don't know. I don't translate screaming and yelling, but I will say this, that once they got there and the door says consulate, they can't go in. It's just the way that it works. The Vienna agreements have held for hundreds of years. When Ecuador itself entered the Mexican embassy, we condemned it, or the Mexican consulate, we condemned it. So we also all condemned it when the UK wanted to go into the Ecuadorian embassy and get out Julian Assange. It's not the first time Ecuador has harbored criminals in a consulate, but we have to be consistent in our values. And I know everyone says, for whatever reason, no, we have to throw our values out the window and get all these people. We can get all these people without throwing our values out the window.
Yeah, I thought. Oh, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, one thing that needs to happen is we need to ask why Ecuador needs a consulate in Minneapolis, St. Paul. We have consulates from Mexico, consulates from Ecuador, consulates from all over South America.
I think 53 Mexican consulates in the United States.
They've proliferated in every state, and it is not there for any logical reason. They talk about serving their people and allowing them to vote with ID. But I think it's more than that. I think it's chock full of activists who are doing things in the community. So I think we need to curtail the volume of those places.
Yes.
I think it's really foolish, or we need to demand that we're allowed to put a bunch of U.S. consulates across Ecuador. But, declining utility, there's no reason to do it. But in this case, these lunatics are socialist activists, and I'm sure the appointees come out of the immigrant community. So there's a commingling of mission.
Okay, real quick, $49.99 from Just Me TX. Thank you for that very generous super chat. He says, "Hey, just in case this is another stroke, I'm throwing my thanks for good times advice, people. Peace out. Oh, and Joe, my uncle was CIA stat in Honduras, stationed in Honduras for the 90s to 2004. And please say the new rad."
He's having a hard time. Hey, first of all, Justin, you need to update us on what happens after you go to the hospital. So go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And second of all, it's the Radtel RT950 Pro. But please don't worry about the radio until you go and get checked out.
Yeah, definitely get checked out if you're having trouble, brother. Your health is important.
And Shelley asks, I thought most were in DC. Embassies are in DC. Consulates are like substations of the embassies, and they're throughout the country.
Right.
Famously, we have an Iraqi and a Saudi embassy. I mean, a consulate and Yemeni in Dearborn, Michigan. So,
right.
Hey, man. Yeah, I really hope you're okay. Definitely go get checked out. Do you smell toast?
Stick your tongue out. Figure it all out. There's a lot of ways to know if you're having a stroke.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. That's a bummer. All right. Next one up is he's making lists, and when you make videos like this, you essentially put yourself on a list, I'm sure. Breaking, conservatives calling for a criminal investigation into Philadelphia DA Krasner for promising to hunt down ICE agents. They're wannabe Nazis. Let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say.
This is a small bunch of wannabe Nazis. That's what they are. In a country of 350 million, we outnumber them. If we have to hunt you down the way they hunted down Nazis for decades, we will find your identities. We will find you. We will achieve justice. And
okay, apparently he's waiting on an ambulance.
Okay, cool.
Hey, man, I hope you're okay.
Yeah. Just keep us posted. This is a DA saying this. Those comments are nearly arrestable. They didn't go quite far enough, but they're pretty darn close. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty.
When somebody gets shot in his town, he'll blame ICE. He won't blame what he just said, right? He just said you should be hunting these people down. That's literally the words out of his mouth, right? I took all the extra fluff words out of it, but he said you should be hunting these people down. And when that happens and the Border Patrol then ventilates somebody, they're going to say, oh, my God, the Border Patrol is so evil. Man.
Yeah, 100%. All right.
I like how they have the tailgate down so you can't really read the license plate number.
Well, it's a U-Haul rental, too.
I understand that, but in order for me to call U-Haul and get the information on that, I need the license plate number.
Yeah. Oh, I'm wondering if maybe they. Well, this is a personal theory because they've been talking about how they've been able to get all the major rental car companies, but I wonder if they're able to get U-Haul or not.
Well, the thing about U-Haul is I can get a U-Haul at any Home Depot, and I don't have to tell them what I need it for. Right?
Yep.
So.
Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
No, I was just gonna say. So, I mean, clearly, there's continued, evidence that this is very organized. We've got
Those signs cost a couple bucks a pop,
and they're designing them, and it's
that was the gayest wave I've ever seen. By the way, did you see that guy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So great example. Who's funding this? Here's some video from when the police showed up to actually start cracking up on some of this stuff.
Did you see that hat? Ah, there it is.
PSL. Yeah. There we go. That answers some questions.
Man, so if there's one thing you've taken from this show in the last 2 years, it's that the PSL is literally your enemy. So.
Yeah, you don't hate them enough. Let's just put it that way. Joe, we talked about the LRAD the other day. This next one is going to be essentially a demonstration of the LRAD.
Highly effective LRAD.
Not even like the bad version of the LRAD. This is just like the public address version of the LRAD. So let's watch.
This is a test of the long-range acoustic device LRAD. 1, 2, 3.
See, even though it's not one of the annoying sounds or whatever, just the directed sound is so intense that it makes people want to get out of the direction that it's being. And what they could do is they could shoot it down a linear kind of way, like in front, like directly in front of those officers, so it doesn't affect the officers, but anybody who comes close to the officers, it affects, and that's why it's perfect for something like
Some
this.
might call it a directed energy weapon.
The cone of exclusion.
Right. It's the baby discombobulator.
That would be the Party for Socialism and Liberation.
Yeah, the Party for Socialism and Liberation. They're all over, and you can check them out.
It's the modern.
Our good buddy, potentially criminal for $5, says, "Hi, name is Sean. I'm a panicking. I've been a panicking since 2024. My last panic was Monday night." I tell you what, brother, you need to get on the show. Maybe a Friday, Sean, if you're not busy. I'd love to get you on and get your take on all this. A lot of legal kind of shit jumping around. So we could use your counsel, your wise conciliary counsel. We're back. It's over. Minor success or failure.
The LRAD is pretty awesome. I actually have seen this thing in action up close and personal. It's a pretty neat thing. I will just tell you that over water, it's even more dramatic, by the way, because the water amplifies the effect. But it's a pretty cool tool. And last night after this event, there were leftists just reeing all over Twitter about a war crime. In order for it to be a war crime, you have to be at war. So I guess if you want to say you're at war, okay.
Frankly, gentlemen, I'm shocked and amazed that we've made it to the end of the show notes, but we did not cover what I believe is the most important story that came out of this. It's a two-parter, and hold on, I'll have the link ready here in just a couple seconds. But it was what I believe was the most important two events that happened the so far. First was our boys sitting up in their hotel hallway drinking beer, overlooking the local police finally doing their job.
Yeah. That was definitely a key piece of because that was the reason why they were there. They were at this hotel.
Yep. Followed by a brief demonstration of their impassioned feelings towards the protesters.
It made my night.
Griswold says this hotel is half a mile from my work. So does that mean you saw the full moon last night?
He was in Djibouti.
All right, guys, that's all I got. There was a ton more, but it's just one of those kind of things. We could keep talking and talking and talking, but ultimately we have to move on. I'm sure we'll be talking about Minnesota again on Friday. Cavalry's here. Yeah.
Good.
All right, brother. Take care of yourself.
We better see you Friday. Be good, buddy. Be okay.
Yeah. Let us know if you need anything.
Hey, chat. Toss up prayers. That's I'm gonna say one.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's go around the horn. Joe, look midweek predictions.
That there will be more leftist chaos and panic because regardless of what the actual 5D chess plan is, they had an optical win, and that has driven them over the edge, and they upped their rhetoric yesterday. So let's see if that translates into street action. I think it will in Philadelphia. I think it will in Minneapolis. And I think that you're just going to see more of these happen because I'm not going to get into an argument about it, but we didn't go far enough, and it's going to make it worse. So.
Yeah. Jim?
Yeah, just keep your eyes on the Republican Party and make sure they do at least somewhat of what they promised to do. If you want to talk about a national security crisis right now, it's senatorial inaction.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see if they wake up, and I remain ever hopeful. And vis-a-vis China, the real trade-off that's going on now is economic. So watching the Europeans scramble to do deals, bilateral deals with China, watching Canada, watching the UK, it's a free-for-all out there because they're all panicked. Because honestly, Europe doesn't have a sustainable economy if they have to actually defend themselves. So everybody's coming to the reality that they need to cooperate with Trump, and they hate it. And if you listen really carefully, Trump hasn't told them to take a hike. What Trump said is stand up and start doing your own thing, and we'd be glad to be around. Kind of. So we're demanding that people try to peer, and it doesn't appear that the United States has any peers. You try to peer with them, and they fail. If you have to, if they're not willing to pick up the dinner tab once in a while, there's no way you can invite them over.
Yeah, good. Well said. Watcher.
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to say that we are in the season that is most fortuitous for trying to pressure the Republican Party, and that is that we're in primary season, not just midterms. You can actually get some of these slimy bastards out before we even get to the midterms. That is totally within your power. And in fact, a lot of these people are in what should be actual deep red territory. You can organize locally and get them taken out and get people who might actually hopefully represent you put in their place. Now is the time. And here's the deal. Even if you're unsuccessful, if you're merely able to apply pressure, it scares them. And that is needed right now. Okay. And then as far as the street action goes, I think the left is on a path for escalation regardless of what we do. But yeah, I think, they're emboldened by the Bavino. I wish I had a good rhyming thing for that. The Bavino Blitz or something. We'll see what happens, but regardless, I hope everyone has fun out there.
Can't stand. Very good.
I think I own this game.
Hey, real quick, Watcher. I just dropped some new info, late breaking info. This is the Ilhan Omar's attacker. Apparently, his children are very confused.
Totally MAGA. Super MAGA.
Yeah, of course they are.
Shocking.
So
I know. I never would have thought. I never would have thought something like that. My prediction is the LIA is going to become a problem again. The lapse in what is it? The appropriations. So I think we'll get another shutdown. It's interesting. Fetterman is saying he won't vote for it, so there may be a small minority on the Democrat side that will not support that.
Again, Fetterman was the doctor. Fetterman's monster.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, whatever. He's sounding like a freaking genius here lately, as far as some of his. I just wish Thune would start listening to Fetterman.
Well, that's true to the book too, right? Gets smarter post surgery, right?
That's right.
Exactly. This is the whole story of Frankenstein, right? The monster got smarter the longer it was out among the society.
It's scary how accurate this is, Lightning.
I know. It's so funny. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. Thank you for being here, chat. You were awesome. Is Elon funding Scott? I wish he'd be paying me a lot more, I'm sure. Guys, that's all we got for today. Thank you for watching. If you would be so kind to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notification, like the video, leave a comment, let us know how we did. If you have any questions, that's a great place to put them. We will address them as they pop in. We will be back on Friday, assuming there's not some sort of crazy riot that Watcher covers in the meantime. Yeah, so as always, stay safe.